Hello and welcome back.
Yes.
To Corks and Controllers. Now, a lot has been happening. We can't feel it here in reality, but over there in the YouTube verse, we've actually missed an upload week. There's a weekend where there's no CNC. There's no wine and media pairing.
Did we delete the video?
No, it just didn't go up. It took me 4 days to finally sit down with like episode 11.
Oh, Lordy.
Start editing it. And then, which backs up everything else because, we still have episode 12, which was the last one we recorded. And then this episode right here that will soon need to be recorded. So we apologize for that.
Yes, our sincerest apologies to our loyal viewers.
Working it out.
And listeners.
And in retrospect, I also realized that I've done some bad planning in terms of like having like a Halloween episode. In retrospect, it probably would have been easier to be like text Victor and be like, quick, give me some great fall reds and describe them to me so I can pair some spooky games for them, and then I'll just put it in like in a CNC short. Like, I should have done that, but I didn't think of that in time.
It tends to be that way.
But we're gonna redeem this right now.
Yes.
Because if my upload schedule is to my exact calculations, believe this episode is going to be our November 17th episode, which means you have about 4 or 5 days to pick out these wines that Victor thinks are acceptable for Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, Lordy. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So before we go there, I'm going to highlight 3 different cuisines.
Okay.
Because there tends to be a little overlap with food. It's like before, for better or for worse, it used to be that, okay, Thanksgiving food meant turkey, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes. Now, thankfully, it means, what about mac and cheese? What about tamales? What about, carnitas? What about pad thai? What about, lumpias? So now it's like the Thanksgiving menu is getting more diverse. And there are not many wines that can answer the challenge to that kind of pairing.
Is that right?
It's like if you're going to a Thanksgiving where you're going to have a hodgepodge of different cultures being met at the table there, let's start with saying this. If you're going to have your traditional American turkey, ham, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole kind of Thanksgiving, Pinot Noir, especially from Oregon, fantastic choice. I would say try to spend at least $16 at a wine shop, not at a grocery store. Please, not at a grocery store. Grocery stores inflate your prices by like $7-8 and you end up getting really shitty wine for like $20 a bottle. Go to a wine shop, please. Just like if you go buy a video game, don't buy it at Walmart. Go to an actual game shop. I think the experience will be totally different. Right? So yeah, invest in at least a $16 bottle of wine, of Pinot Noir from Oregon, from a wine shop. I would say that for your traditional, North American Thanksgiving. Now, if you're going to have some Southeast Asian components, so any Thai, Vietnamese, Laos kind of food, that's when I'm going to say that German Riesling, the love of my life. Medium sweet to lightly sweet, so your Cabernet, your Spätlese Rieslings are fantastic. With any kind of chili, any kind of garlic, any kind of fish sauce. It's just, you make sure you serve it ice cold, and it's just like this mouth-wateringly refreshing, juicy. It's like your Kool-Aid. It just hits the right spot, And then if you're going to have any kind of Latino/Hispanic food.
I was about to say.
So any kind of enchiladas, tamales.
Mexicans.
Yeah, California Mexicans. That's when I would say you have about 2 different options. The first one I would say would be a really cheap Beaujolais. So just standard Beaujolais. Louis Jadot's just basic Beaujolais. Beaujolais Village is excellent. It's a really fruity, juicy wine. Now, if you wanted to go the white wine route, that's where things can get more interesting. Grenache Blanc surprisingly pairs really well with a lot of Mexican food. So anything that has green sauce or red sauce that is a white protein, so think pork, chicken, turkey. Please don't eat pigeons, but if you eat pigeon, same thing with that. You could pair it with Grenache Blanc fairly well. We were supposed to have a Grenache Blanc on the show today, but I was a klutz and forgot it at work. So we're having Dr. Pepper and Taylor Swift water today, as you can tell.
Very bare.
Yeah, I had a really bad day at work today, hence why it's so discombobulated and uncoordinated. I take full responsibility there. I'm sorry, Victor.
No.
I brought Wendy's to make up for that, and I hope that was sufficient,
If you couldn't tell.
Yeah, so we'll give you the tasting notes on Dr. Pepper here. But yeah, so going back, so if it's going to be a Hispanic/Latino Thanksgiving kind of dinner, Grenache Blanc would be fantastic, as well as Beaujolais Village. Now, myself, what will I be serving for Thanksgiving this year? So there will be tamales, there will be turkey, dry as hell. Turkey, because my dad is the kind of guy that says, "Oh, it's pink, it's raw." So that means he bakes the damn turkey until the juices are no longer there. Wow. So it's like any kind of turkey. Oh, and he does this thing where I know I'm going to miss this later on in life, but he actually puts the stuffing in the turkey and he mashes that shit till it's like a glob of gelatinous wheat paste,
I was like, does my mom? No, my mom does not do it. My mom has too much self-respect.
And it's like, even since I was little, I'm like, that doesn't look very sanitary. I didn't know what sanitary was back then, but I'm like, I know that's not it.
I feel weird.
Yeah, I'm like, this is just, I don't think anything's meant to go in there except an organ, and even then I wouldn't eat the organ stuff. But yeah, so he dries the hell out of his turkey, makes this ridiculously pasty stuffing. I tend to, drown the white meat in a bunch of gravy, and then I decide to add cranberry sauce. I get those lovely Hawaiian rolls with the side of tamales. God. So myself, usually I am a little bit weird, so I absolutely love a little grape called Malvasia or Malvasia, whichever pronunciation you prefer. Mm-hmm. It smells like Pop Rocks. I'm not even kidding. Wow. Pop Rocks. Either Pop Rocks or whatever those little Willy Wonka candies were that were like little pebbles.
Oh, no. They're like little guys, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're in that double pack.
Exactly. Yeah, there's that. So it reminds me of Pop Rocks. It reminds me of Pixie Sticks and that. So it smells like that, but it tastes like kind of waxy, kind of peachy, kind of sweet, but like very juicy.
I'm full of shame right now.
I'm too, believe me.
I know what it's called.
But anywho, so yeah, Malvasia Bianca, I'm thinking specifically from Beercino, which you sell at the place where you are currently working at, by the way. And I think you guys sell it for like about $22.
I sell the what?
Yeah, the Beercino Malvasia Bianca.
Oh, that one, okay.
Yes. So cheap little bottle of wine, but I think it pairs fantastic with the kind of food that we'll be serving.
I was speaking of all this editing for the shows that I've been doing. I just done the one where you were talking about the Beercino. Mm-hmm. And you were just like, all right, go ahead, pair me a game or an anime with it. And I was like, okay, here I go. And you're like, oh, actually.
Oh, and then I'm like, Kongsgard.
Yeah. there's a wine that you didn't pair with Kaylin that you need an answer for. And I was like, damn it.
Oh, Chateauneuf de Pape.
Yeah.
Yes, the Pope wine. Where are my Pope Clement V people at?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I would do for my Thanksgiving pairings. Now, if you don't want to do wine, don't hate me when I say this, Coors Banquet would be fantastic with a traditional American meal.
I'm not sure how much it's come up on the show, but in real life, Mr. Villavazzo, Coors Banquet all the time.
Coors Banquet, that's my drink of choice. Now, that I would say that's good for a multitude of different reasons, but Coors Banquet, it's cheap. You can get it in a 30-pack. It actually has a really, really great flavor. Not super bitter, not sweet at all. Damn, it's good. And then if you wanted to go a la hardcore boozy route, if you can find yourself any Midsummer Night's Dram from good old High West out in Utah, I think that would marry perfectly well the chilly weather from the exterior with like the warm spices of the actual food. So if you have any of that laying around, that's what I would go for. And for my teetotalers, there is actually a lot of alcohol-free stuff out there now as well. So do not ridicule me for this. Stella Rosa makes horrible wine.
Okay.
Let's establish that as a fact, first of all.
Right.
It's actually not even real wine. If you look at the back of a Stella Rosa bottle, what does it say? It says on the back of the bottle, Moste di uve parzialmente fermentato, which is Italian for partially fermented grape juice.
Partially?
Because they don't ferment the hell out of it. So they can't even legally call it wine. So that establishes that. Yeah. So I think if you look on the back of the bottle of the basic Stella Rosso Il Rosso, it says Mosto di uve parzialmente fermentato. And to the unassuming eye, you'd be like, oh, look, it says something in Italian, long phrase, how beautiful. And it's just like, yeah, suckers, this is just grape juice that we kind of fermented, but legally it's not even wine.
Oh my God, you're making me imagine my exact clientele who would pick this up and be like, I love Stella Rosa. And you know what else is cool? I didn't learn until I read this that it's Italian.
Yeah, exactly. They fall in love with the phrasing of it. It's just like, if you have a wine that says La ragazza mangia la mela, they're going to be like, oh, such a pretty label. And that just means, oh, the girl's eating an apple. It's like, no, it's not romantic at all. But so like I was saying, Stella Rosa wines, horrible things.
Yes.
But their non-alcoholic stuff is possibly the best damn grape juice you can buy. So they supposedly de-alcoholize it. I don't think they do. It tastes too damn good to be true.
Yeah, they probably just do nothing to it.
Yeah, they're probably making grape juice and adding a couple additives that make it taste way better than just grape juice. But so for Thanksgiving food, that would be excellent.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So I think that kind of covers. Oh, and then, I mean, shameless self-plug here, but I really do think a cup of coffee with some good old pan dulce after the big dinner is pretty damn good.
Pan dulce.
Screw the pumpkin pie, man. The texture, I love the flavor of pumpkin pie, but the texture is just not it, man.
You just announced war against me.
Is it war? Do you like eating poop? Because I'm pretty sure that's the texture of poop.
Not the texture. Poop's gotta be firmer than that.
Nah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, it's like the texture of pumpkin. I like the flavor. I do. I will say that. But it's like the texture. It's like you put it in your mouth and you're like, what the fuck? And it's like, maybe, like we've just been like tormented into accepting this as our fate, because pumpkins are American. It's like, nah, bro, give me an apple pie. I want some texture up in here.
You son of a bitch.
Next time when you're eating pumpkin pie, think about the texture.
You be careful right now. You're about to start the next French Revolution.
No, it's going to be the American Revolution because the French don't know about pumpkins, man.
I guess they don't.
So, yeah, fight me if you dare, YouTube. Pumpkin pie tastes good, but the texture is abhorrent, and I will not eat it for that reason. It's grainy. It's mushy.
Does Oreo make pumpkin pie flavor? I'm pretty sure they do.
Oh, I like anything pumpkin flavored. I do. I am the biggest pumpkin spice latte fan at Starbucks, but I just cannot do pumpkin pie, man. I cannot. Anything with that kind of texture, it's like, God. Just, I don't know. If I really wanted to just be really horrible, I could just add a little bit of flour and mix in a cup of milk and be like, oh, look at my pumpkin puree. But no.
Next episode, the feature table is going to have one big fat slice of pumpkin pie.
I mean, even then, like, think about it. Like, when you serve a piece of pumpkin pie, like, how often is the crust on the bottom already soggy and falling apart? It's like, it's not flaky. It's not buttery. It's pasty. It is not. Again, there's no texture. There's no texture.
It's a nice, moist flakiness.
That is the exterior of the crust, but not the crust below the pie.
Yeah. If you have a good pie and you eat it soon enough.
Costco pies, I'm looking at you. The flavor may be good, but
those are pies sitting out. You gotta have my mom's pumpkin pie.
She makes her own pumpkin pie?
Yeah. She buys that pre-made crust, but the rest she makes by herself. What's
the texture like?
It's fucking heavenly. It's like you got shot in the face by an angel.
But what's the texture like?
It's not poop because poop's firmer.
Is it like mushy, pasty?
That's just pumpkin pie.
It doesn't have to be that way, Victor.
What are you talking about?
Have
you had it any other way?
No, because most people do not actually eat pumpkin. I've actually roasted my own pumpkins and eaten them like that. They taste great. Salt and pepper, a little bit of olive oil.
I don't think I've
Tastes amazing.
That sounds good.
Oh, it is good, but it doesn't have to be like that, Victor. You can break the chains of having to like pumpkin pie.
I mean, you're just telling me it's more pumpkin pie for me. That's all
let me phrase it this way. No one says it's as American as pumpkin pie. They say it's as American as apple pie for a reason.
With a little whipped cream on top. Well, bam.
Oh, yeah. Let me add more soft, gooey texture to this pasty texture already, You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the texture of hummus. Would you eat a hummus pie that was sweet?
How do you feel about applesauce?
I hate applesauce.
How do you feel about yogurt?
Yogurt's weird because it has lactic acid, so it makes it taste like cheese in a way.
Well, I think we're finding your problem.
No,
I don't like soft things.
I like hummus.
Hummus is delicious.
But now that I'm thinking about it, pumpkin pie has the same texture as hummus.
I discovered hummus like a year ago, and already I'm just like, oof.
Oh my God. When you can add in jalapenos in there and cilantro, it makes it taste so much better.
There you go. All right.
So yeah, pumpkin pie, the declaration of war sign, bro. I will go down this path and say that the texture of pumpkin pie is just trash, garbage. I like the flavor though.
You're making me realize that, like, how much politics goes into starting a war. I thought you just start shooting.
No, I think first you have to have a philosophical disagreement. So like the Byzantines, I think, and the Western Roman Catholic Church had this agreement about, like, I already forgot the specifics, but like, I think it was something so trivial as like, oh, God is not man or Jesus is not man and God. He is exclusively God, but appears as a man. And then I think the Greek Empire or the Greek Byzantine said, no. Yeah, they said, bullshit, like he is man and he is God at the same time. Then the Roman church said no, or it was the Greeks, I don't know. But it was something like that. Mm-hmm. Mind you, this is like a couple hundred years after they were getting not gunned down, but like shot down with spears and choked and hung.
Right.
So it's like there was no problems until there were no problems, and then they began their own problems. One of my favorite ways of describing this is... oh my God! All the different Christian religions are like different flavors of the same. How would I say? What's the phrase? It'll come to me.
Different flavors of. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Damn it!
Did I just hear a woman scream?
No, that's a weird dog.
Oh, I was like, oh my God! Oh, it's different flavors of the same religion.
Oh yeah.
Literally, that's all it is. So, like, you got your Baptist, your Lutheran, your Christian, your Catholic, your Orthodox, your I don't know what else. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, those are just all different flavors of Christianity.
Yeah.
But here they are professing that they are the one true religion. Let's not get into that.
No, let's not get into it.
Oh, Lordy. But anywho.
Disclosure, I was raised Mormon. Victor, that live in Mormon town.
Oh my God. That's why you like pumpkin pie.
What are you talking about?
That answers so many questions now.
What do you mean?
You never had a choice. It was decided for you.
Is there somewhere in the Book of Mormon a bunch of people eating pumpkin pie? It's like what?
Look at how many canned pumpkins or how many cans of canned pumpkin come from Deseret Industries. You should be surprised, man. If I were to Google Mormon pumpkin pie recipes,
It may be a thing that my mom in her cooking career was just like, excuse me, what? While we were at church. And then like just wrote down what they said.
Exactly.
There might have been, but God, my knowledge of my mom's cooking does not go back very far. When I was a kid, I just put in my mouth whatever my mom cooked. I never questioned what it was called, what it was made out of.
Have you ever had a sweet potato pie?
Maybe.
You would probably love that because the texture is the same exact way.
Well, there you go.
It's like I grew up where like my parents would roast all these things with sugar.
You're just trying to brag that your teeth are strong.
No, I'm trying to brag.
And I will not accept.
I'm trying to brag that I don't like baby food. I don't have this complex that's unsolved, where I have to have soft foods. It's like, no.
I can only get it up if someone's feeding me something soft.
Right? It's like, that's what pumpkin pie does to millions every year. Yes. It's like, oh, solve my child problems, pumpkin pie. Remind me of when I used to be fed with a spoon.
Oh, man. I love how we're right on the edges of a lot of things. We're just like we got really up there with religion. We got kind of up there with war. Now
we're back to pie.
We're trying to get up there with kinks. And it's just like, maybe we should move on.
Is Nicole here? Has she ever fed you pumpkin pie? We need to have that discussion.
I'm not. Actually, I'm not sure.
You're not sure if she's ever fed you pumpkin pie? I don't have an answer. What does she say? Like, here you go, Victor. Open wide. Here comes the choo-choo. And you're like, yay.
I can't say no either. That's the problem. But anyways, let's move on to the 5 games that you can play during your Thanksgiving excursions.
Oh yes, what are they?
Well, you got your younger nieces and nephews, and you got some brothers, maybe some people are in town, and they're just like, all right, well, food's done. Everyone else is watching like whatever runny balls on the screen, but everyone else is just like, not quite my interest. Is there anything else we do for entertainment? And it's just like, well, I got some consoles here and there, and this is what Victor thinks you should be playing. So here you go. For one, now this is slightly controversial, only in terms of you can't really get it anymore, but if you have it, you're in for a load of fun. If you have Guitar Hero, or Rock Band. And some instruments. Grand old time. I'm a little biased because I grew up with these kinds of things. I don't know where we got the money for it, but me and my brothers and sisters were probably scrounging up whatever change we had to get some plastic controllers in our home. But when you have more than one controller, a little guitar controller, or like the drums, or like a little fake microphone, oh my God, it is so much fun. Like, and because you can set your own difficulty where one person can be on easy, one can be on super hard, and someone can like pick the song, like, oh, this is my favorite song. Now, what's your favorite? Then you talk about music a little bit. Super duper fun. I think if it was possible for every family in the United States to have a copy of Rock Band or Guitar Hero, then I would, I'd be president of that land. That's how I'd make it happen. I'd become president. I'd be like, get out of here, Obama. And I'll be like, here's a new law. Who's a new law? And I'll sign into law that Microsoft has to make a new Rock Band.
And the national dessert would be pumpkin pie. Oh my God. I'm giving up my citizenship now. I'm moving to Canada where poutine is a thing.
The new state flag is a bald eagle with a pumpkin pie.
You should just change it to a bald eagle with a jar of baby food. Get to the core issues, Victor.
All right. You've got to have any Mario Kart, literally any of them.
I think that game transcends generations, right? I think everybody knows what Mario is, from the little kids to the old grandparents.
Yeah, like even if you're all the way back to like you got a father or an older brother who's like had an SNES, and he's just like, oh, Mario Kart. Oh my God, the 3D graphics, they used to be flat, that? It's like, oh, Grandpa, sit down. No, yeah, I think no matter what Nintendo console you have, older brand spanking new, there's a Mario Kart in it, and it's super fun split screen, like 4 players, get everyone involved. And yeah, I mean, you can make similar cases for like 3D Mario games that have more than one player, Super Smash Brothers that always has more than one player and stuff like that. But I think Mario Kart is the quintessential family fun with like that tiny bit of violence.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Mormon level of violence.
Because like Super Smash Brothers, I can easily see people getting kind of mad over it because it's like obviously punching and kicking, and it's just like, oh, you're beating me up too much. I hate you, cousin. But Mario Kart is just like, you can royally screw someone over who's been in first place the entire match, and then they get hit with like a red turtle shell like 3 times in a row, and then you overcross them and win at the last second. Like, that might do a little bit of like, Mom, Kenny's hitting me, but
oh my God, what was that game that we were playing? It was the island one where like you were winning by like a shit ton, then like you chose this mysterious thing and it switched, like I got both of your stars and like half of your coins.
Oh, we're playing a Mario Party.
Oh, so yeah, imagine telling Mom, hey, he took my 4 stars and he's in first place now.
My God, it's so funny because Mario Party is also easily like a number 2 or 3 as well. And it's funny because there's so much dumb luck that comes in that game, that it does kind of seem fair in terms of like, even your little brother who holds the controller upside down the entire time might even win. But the thing is, like, the reason why people get really confident in Mario Party is because there is a way where you can lose deliberately. There isn't necessarily a way where you can win deliberately, like super skilled, like winning all the mini games. Because I was winning most of the mini games.
Yeah,
and he still trounced me. But like, if you purposely do feel bad for all your real relatives and you start losing mini games on purpose, then yeah, you can make someone else feel better. So I don't know. There's like a little element of
remorse,
surprise. Does feel like a lucky game. Gosh, what? Oh, now I know. I was kind of like leaning away from violence, but you gotta have one punchy game. We were playing some Mortal Kombat.
Ugh.
You can easily replace that with a Street Fighter or a Tekken.
I got my ass handed to me with that Mortal Kombat game. Oh my God, I've never felt like such a punching bag. And Kaylin was going easy on me.
Oh, it's a goody punchy game. Now, this is almost impossible because no one's going to know what I'm talking about. But there is a Dreamcast game. Victor, what is a Dreamcast?
Yeah, wait, exactly. What is a Dreamcast?
It was made by Sega. It came out around the same time as a PS1 and a N64. And it failed. It utterly failed. Almost there's more chances of someone not hearing of it than someone hearing of it. But people who have heard of it are like, dude, the Dreamcast was the best console of all times. It had its fan base.
Interesting.
But it still failed commercially as a console. But there's a game on there called Power Stone. Now, you've maybe seen either in person or online Super Smash Brothers, right? Mm-hmm. Multiple Nintendo characters all on the screen at the same time punching each other. This is the same way, except it's not so staged like. It's more like a downward facing camera. Like imagine like how the studio lights are. Imagine those are cameras. They kind of like look down on the entire stage, and you have this really, really wide stage where you can run anywhere I want. I can jump on the couch and jump on the TV and then like do 2 backflips and like drop kick you on your head. Kind of looks like that.
Wow.
But it's super fun because there are these power stones, that you can grab that transform you into like either a mech or into a ninja or into like a freaking like some muscle man or whatever. Like you have like almost like Power Rangers. You'll just transform into something cool and you'll do your special and just like royally screw people up. But if you're good enough, you can pick up things like health items or like a rocket launcher.
What the hell?
Or a big ass shield. It is so fun. Oh my god! Now I want.
You don't have a Dreamcast?
Now I want to kick on. Well, now I do it by means of emulation. So
what?
Emulation.
Oh, they said emulation. I'm like, what the hell is going on over here, my guy?
Oh my gosh.
At first, I was like, it's either Imodium or emulation, and I was like, whoa.
I am. But the fun thing about everything I'm talking about right now is that, like I said, especially with the Mario Karts and Mario Parties, there's been generations of it, evolutions. You can almost get any copy of this video game, of these video games, I mean, no matter what console you own. But there's been a new contender lately.
Spider-Man.
No. What? Anyways, there's a new contender that kind of overtook everything and is now like kind of like the party game to have. So unfortunately, you're going to need something a little bit more recent, probably like a PS4, maybe PS3, 360. No, PS4 or Xbox One. Sorry, you have to get a fairly new console, but it's called Overcooked.
Interesting.
And Overcooked, you are a little chef. Sometimes you're like a little raccoon or a dog. Sometimes you can be a person. Depends what character you choose, but they all have the same ability, so it doesn't matter. And all you do is you're looking down on this map that's like a very simplified kitchen that looks like it's made out of Legos. Like everything's kind of just really squared off and like
like Cooking Mama
and grid like, yeah, sort of. And you'll have your stations where it's just like, this is where you get your lettuce and tomatoes. This station is for washing dishes. This stage over here is the stove, and this is where you put your trays out to go out to the customers. You're running a restaurant, you're the kitchen of a restaurant, and it comes to play because you can have like up to 4 characters running around the kitchen, being like, "Oh, I'll be in charge of food prep. I'll chop up all the lettuce and stuff," and like, "Oh, and I'll do the thing," but the stages get more and more wacky the more you get into the game. So you start from going from a standard kitchen to being like you're out in the jungle on a raft going down the river.
What the hell?
And the entire kitchen is moving. So you have to
swim to get your bowls and shit.
Yeah, you have to like time your jump to get to the other raft.
Oh, hell no. It's literally Hell's Kitchen.
That holds the other half of the kitchen. You have to coordinate with each other because if someone says like, "Oh, I'll wash all the dishes," but they also have a second job and they focus on one job instead of washing it. Wow, and then all of a sudden you're looking around being like,
dishes are all the way down the Danube.
You just look around and be like, "What the fuck? There's no dish," and then you all start yelling at each other, but hopefully in a nice way.
Oh, it's like Among Us, but cruel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Who fucked up the dishes? God damn it, Sandy.
And speaking of which, I would put that over Among Us because Among Us, you sort of have to play with people online. Because the idea is that you can't really talk to each other during gameplay. And if you're all in the same room, then that kind of just...
I hated that game. I lasted like maybe 2 days. I kept on getting killed. It's like they would snap my head off or something. I'm like, I don't even have a fucking neck.
There's a weird synapse in my brain that blocks me from ever playing that game. There's something about it. People invite me and be like, hey, let's all play Among Us. And I'm like, nope. And they're like, why? Did you not have a good experience? I'm like, oh, I only played like one match. And you never tried it again since? Yeah. How come? I don't know.
Among Us, no. And I think what happened after that was a Discord. I never really got to that.
Oh, yeah.
I made an account. And I was just like, this is too complicated. Bye.
That is complicated. But yeah. And yeah, I would say those are
the 5.
Those are the 5 that you should be playing on Thanksgiving. Probably with those wines, maybe. Well, do the dinner thing and then go play some games.
Yeah, I would say
spend some time with your family.
Yeah, please spend some time with your family. Spend some time with your dogs, your cats.
I mean, if you're like me, then just the cats.
And if you're like me, get the roasted skin off the turkey and give it to your pet. They will love you forever.
There you go.
Give them the choices of the cuts.
My thing was I'm not very family oriented. Of course I go and I talk.
Same.
I say face.
I'm just there so I won't get fined.
I won't get fined.
I'm just like, what are you guys gonna fine me for this time if I don't go?
I thought you were gonna be like, I don't go because they try to feed me pumpkin pie.
You know, that's the cruel life. Every single year, no one asks for that. Somehow it shows up. And one day
you don't have to ask. It is a requirement.
One day I will find who brings that cursed, wretched item.
It should be a legal requirement in the president of Victor Operations.
I look, I'm not a big fan of ice cream, but if I had my choice, I would rather down a bucket of ice cream than even chew on. You can't even chew pumpkin pie. You have to like smooth it out in your mouth because like it's like semi-solid baby food. Like you would choke on a chunk of pumpkin pie. And the saddest part is not even a solid food.
I know, you cough once and it goes nicely down your gullet. That's
so disturbing. Like, oh God, no, you know. It's like
you don't like soft food, just admit it.
I like yogurt if it's sweetened with honey. And I love hummus, but I will never eat those two things alone. Like, unless the yogurt is like Greek yogurt that's actually like has all the water removed. It's like hummus always has to be on pita or something. Yeah, but pumpkin pie, man. Like, how do you even eat that? Do you lick it and then you swallow it? Because you can't even chew it.
So your problem is that there's only one texture. Because you're saying that the crust was kind of mushy sometimes too.
That's not. Yeah.
But if your hummus is on a nice
piece of chewy pita.
Yeah, and it's just like more than one texture, a nice foundation for the house. If you
Again,
will.
like I said, I like the flavor of pumpkin pie. It's just like, ew. It's just ew. Like that's the best way to describe it. It's.
This reminds me of when you asked me about League of Legends, and you're just like, "Why aren't you playing League of Legends?" And I was just like, "Cause it's dumb." It's like, why? And I'm like, "Cause it's stupid." Why? Like, cause it sucks. But why? And I'm just
that's
like,
pumpkin pie. That's literally pumpkin pie. It's like, why don't you like it? I just don't like it. Why don't you like it though? Because I think it's gross. But you like the flavor, but I don't like the texture.
Oh my good gosh.
If you were to ask me for your birthday to buy you a pumpkin pie, I would buy you a pumpkin, all the pie spices, all the pie ingredients. And I'd be like, it's like IKEA, build it yourself, buddy, because I'm not going to be a part of that. You can make your own damn pumpkin pie because I will not be a party or a conspirator to that.
My next shift, I'm buying me a pumpkin pie. It's not even to spite you because it won't even be there.
Exactly. And if you get a pumpkin pie near me, it's like garlic to a vampire. I'm like, no. Like, I don't get that cursed, wretched thing near me. Put it this way. We have teeth. We're meant to use them. Mm-hmm. Have you ever tried biting a piece of pumpkin pie off? No, you can't.
You do.
You can't? Well, you can, but you can't. It
is kind of fun to like kind of mush it on the roof of your mouth. I think it's fun.
Ew. God, it's like peanut butter all over again.
You don't like peanut butter?
I like the flavor of peanut butter.
Oh my God.
I do.
You got to put on nice toast. I need a foundation texture.
I do. It's just gross, man. It is.
Oh my gosh.
Like if you
about to get 2 signatures on this decoration.
You have a pumpkin pie, right? You get a spoon, you like dunk it in there. If you hold the spoon upside down, that shit ain't falling off.
It's like the Dairy Queen bit. When you order a Dairy Queen and they put it.
Yeah, but it's like that thing was made with a fucking vegetable or a fruit, whatever the hell you call a pumpkin. It's a piece of squash. Like that's just not natural. How about we just skip to the part where I say the First American Thanksgiving, I highly doubt there was pumpkin pie there.
I'll probably not know.
And I would be eternally grateful to this country if they upheld that tradition.
Where did the pumpkin originate? Where is it?
Well, so pumpkin is originally from Mexico. Okay. Or the zucchini plant or pumpkin, whatever you want to call it, you know. But
Mexicans.
Somehow us Americans figured out a way to bastardize the poor thing by adding cinnamon and nutmeg and brown sugar and eggs and everything else to it. And it's like, if you go to Mexico, it's like you'll find kabocha squash, which is like the Mexican version of a pumpkin. They just cook it down with piloncillo. So you have this wonderfully, you know, like chewy, textural, candied, like, you know, pumpkin that tastes like pumpkin. It's fucking great, you know. But there's none of that bullshit, you know, cinnamon, nutmeg, and brown sugar, which I do like, which is why I go to Starbucks and get the pumpkin spice latte.
Oh
but
my god, you sack!
Yeah, I will eat that or drink that. But it's
talk about the bastardization of pumpkins. You're over here with the fucking spice.
I would rather dilute the essence of it and drink it.
Disclosure, I ordered those too.
It's like I would rather dilute the essence of pumpkin into a liquid and drink it with milk and sugar versus literally blending the poor thing until it's a sauce and then adding some, I don't know, fucking cornstarch to thicken it up, you know?
Right.
And then have this, okay, let's, bear with me here. We get a scoop of pumpkin out of the pie, right? Because honestly, what the hell else is it, you know? And I decide to throw it up against the wall. What are the chances it's going to fall off the wall? It ain't. Do you really want that in your stomach?
Yes. All the time.
Ew. Just ew.
How many times are you going to say ew in my face? You're trying to hurt my feelings.
It's like, you know, there's the saying, you know, hate the sin, not the sinner. I hate the pumpkin pie, not the pumpkin pie consumer.
How many times are you going to get religious on this show?
All right. Well, with pumpkin pie, it's like it has such a, I don't know, following that, like, it has done nothing to earn anybody's respect. Like, what has pumpkin pie done for you besides make you think it tastes good?
It doesn't make me think it is.
Let me...
pumpkins have also given me...
Riddle me this.
Jack-o'-lanterns.
Do you eat those?
Why would you eat jack-o'-lantern?
Precisely.
It's your friend.
Precisely.
You don't eat friends?
Why would you eat a pumpkin?
No, the jack-o'-lanterns are my friend. The insides I already ate.
Ugh, God almighty. Riddle me this. Would you rather take a nicely baked cinnamon roll or a slice of pumpkin pie?
Why can't I have both of them?
Because I said so.
Well, I don't have to follow your rules. You're not my dad.
But this is the hypothetical, though. If you had to pick one, freshly baked cinnamon roll, dressed, you know, with cream cheese frosting and a shit ton of cinnamon, you know, on the inside, absolutely, you know, chewy and fluffy and airy, or you had a piece of...
the pumpkin pie.
You savage.
You want to know why? Because I can have a cinnamon roll literally whenever I want. Here's a small fun fact. Here's a cheat code to getting to know Victor as a human being. All of my favorite things are things I don't have year round.
I don't have access to cinnamon rolls year round.
Where do you go?
Winco.
There's cinnamon rolls at Winco all the time.
Yeah, but I limit myself to them because I know if I eat them every other day, it's like no longer a special treat.
Yeah, right. But what I mean is like, it would be kind of weird in the middle of freaking June to be like, I made myself pumpkin pie. It's just like, are you all right?
That's how I feel when people just say anything about pumpkin pie in general.
You eat pumpkin pie in the fall.
Like when people order pumpkin pie at a restaurant, I just like immediately think, what kind of sleazeball are you? Like, do you not have any dignity, self-respect? Like you're at a place where there's textures galore and you want to eat baby food.
What's one of my favorite beverages of all time? Horchata. How many times do I have a year? Like 2 or 3 times.
I love horchata though.
What's my favorite food? Lasagna. How often do I have it? Like 4 or 5 times a year.
Lasagna is so good too. See, everything...
Probably even less than that, actually.
Everything makes sense about you, Victor, but the pumpkin pie. Like, why? Ew.
You choose this one thing to sign your declaration of war to me.
Exactly.
With 3 signatures at this point.
It's like 99.9% of what you like, I like, but pumpkin pie is where we draw the line. Mm-hmm. Again, I will eternally say I love the flavor of it. But no, on the texture. It's like if you try to feed a bird Jell-O, you're just going to choke it to death.
What if there's something about it where it's like you're kind of just denying a part of yourself?
Oh, believe me, I'm not denying any part of myself when I say I loathe the texture of pumpkin pie.
Like what if something happened in your life where you're just like that texture just reminds you too much of like just a part of yourself that you hate and wish was you could just bury deep down within yourself.
See, I think that part doesn't exist because I like hummus. I really do enjoy hummus.
It's kind of like how one of my friends, for some strange reason, there's a lot of, in our world of, following video game news and like whatever other nerd stuff, there's a lot of online personalities that remind my friend of themselves. And every single time I'm like, oh, I always like that internet personality because he kind of reminds me of you. And he's like, oh, I hate him. It's like, what? He's like, yeah, he's kind of annoying. I was like, but he reminds me of you. Like, he's almost exactly you. He's just like, no way, man. He's super annoying. I'm just like, I think you're hiding from yourself.
I get that all the time with two fictional characters.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my God. And both of them were thrown upon me at erase that. Bleep, please bleep.
With the mouth sensor,
yes,
so they can't read your lips.
The place that we cannot speak of. Mm-hmm. But one of them was good old Sheldon Cooper.
Oh, that's not even... No, I disagree that with you.
And then the other one is lovely Dr. House.
That one's slightly closer.
Yeah, the whole crippled leg, being cranky.
Well, you don't have a crippled leg.
Well, back when I was on crutches.
I feel like it's about exposure time. I think just being around people that you feel like are like medically acknowledged less than you in the situation of a house, that they just automatically make you cranky. I don't think that's you. I think if you had to work with these people every single day and they weren't improving, like working every single day with someone who you're supposed to be mentoring at this place we can't name, and they just weren't getting any better, you would get annoyed with them very fast.
Are we speaking the truth? Because I feel like you are.
I think,
he who shall not be named. I think we both know who we're talking about here.
And excuse me, I took a sip mid-sentence. How rude of me. And now I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, no, Dr. House, I don't see it. Sheldon, I don't see it.
Dr. House, I think he's like an extreme. With a little closer. Sheldon, no, that's way off. Like with that, you're not like a strangely sheltered person who's just like, even though I grew up very abnormally from everyone else, I'm somehow better than you still.
I wouldn't say I'm better than anybody.
No.
I really wouldn't. No, that just doesn't sound right. But I am better. Let me rephrase this. I am good enough to not eat pumpkin pie.
That's the final signature. That's the last
exactly. I'm like, I just had to throw the dig in there. I'm like, no pumpkin pie for me. In case I haven't made it abundantly clear. At Friendsgiving, Victor, I do not want pumpkin pie served.
When we agreed on not Sheldon, I thought we were going to white out one of the signatures on this.
Right, I know. And it's like fourth one has been applied.
Man. It's funny because like you would think you need multiple cabinet members to make a signature, but so far they're just your signature.
We should run a poll. Do you like or loathe pumpkin pie? Well, actually, no. Let's start with this. Do you love or hate the texture of pumpkin pie?
I wonder where we can host this poll. Maybe Instagram's the best.
Either or.
I think it's where we have the most eyes.
And I would say, let's see. Let the people vote. I know that I am going to be in the minority, but we are loud and proud.
All right, comment down below right this second, right there on YouTube, pumpkin pie, yeah or nay. And if you're not on YouTube, check out Instagram for the poll.
Let's make this a short. I hate the texture of pumpkin pie, by the way. Fight me. What do you think?
I think it's the most heavenly thing that's ever been invented by, not even by man. I think it was gifted to us at some point, and they just erased our mind about it.
Do you have unresolved, like, Oedipus complex things where you still like baby food?
I just love delicious cuisine, Victor. That's all it is.
The texture of baby food is not normal. We are grown men. It's like we yearn for the bosoms of mushy food.
The bosom. I think when man invented a blender,
I thought you were going to say a bosom. I was going to say, oh my God.
I think one of the first things that went in it is a pumpkin.
You know, in America, based on our history, I would not be surprised. And if shortly thereafter, boom, went a raccoon, you know, like the two great American symbols, a pumpkin and a raccoon.
Victor, what wine would you pair with the pumpkin?
And a raccoon. Oh, let me tell you. Oh my God. Let's give a little shout out to our former colleague, Ricardo. Mr. Tennessee himself, who would probably, say that he picked pumpkins and grilled raccoons. But okay, so if you wanted a proper pairing for a savory pumpkin dish, this is actually pretty easy. So savory pumpkin, I am going to go with good old-fashioned American Chardonnay. So American Chardonnay has this wonderful, like, nutty, buttery, creamy, kind of like texture to it that interplays lovely or really, really well with savory pumpkin dishes. If you must slander my name and drag me through the mud and ridicule me and bring shame upon me and my ancestors and my futures, if you must pair pumpkin pie with something, it irks me to even utter that sentence. Like, pumpkin pie does not deserve the respect that I'm about to give it. It is the whore of the desserts.
Oh my God.
It is the solemn wench of the American desserts. No American dessert is far. Actually, no, I take that back. Jell-O is an aberration, but that's a different discussion.
Excuse. What about the Jell-O?
Jell-O? Oh my God, I would rather eat 10 pumpkin pies than step close anywhere near Jell-O. But anywho, so, oh my God, there's strike 2. Sign 5 more signatures on that paper.
I love Jell-O.
Holy war is about to begin.
I love Jell-O because I have it like once, like every few years.
More and more is making sense. Utah with its carrot Jell-O and pumpkin pie, like we should have swapped, Victor. I would have been happy eating chips and salsa, every other day in California, than being subjected to pumpkin pies and carrot Jell-O and funeral potatoes in Utah. Damn, am I the ancestor of Joseph Smith?
Wait, how do you feel about mashed potatoes?
You mean funeral potatoes? Because that's the Utah one. I hate mashed potatoes too, by the way. I really do. I prefer smashed potatoes.
You have a pathetic and soft.
I don't like baby food. When I grew up to be a man, I think I made a swear to myself that we will never revisit the disgusting factor of baby food ever again. But
gravy too.
Might as well just eat potato soup. Ew. God, no. Smashed potatoes are better. If you want to make really good potatoes for Thanksgiving, buy those little baby potatoes. Toss them in a shit ton of butter, put them in the oven for 30 minutes at 200 degrees, and then take them out, smash them with a cup, maybe an inch piece, and then douse them with butter and garlic, and then put them in there to crisp them up. That's a proper potato. That is a sophisticated potato. That is an elegant potato.
How do you feel about cheesy potatoes?
What?
Yeah,
mashed potatoes with cheese?
No.
Oh, I was going to say
a baked potato and you put a fancy cheese on it.
Baked potatoes to me are so vanilla, but maybe because I've never had a good one. I like potatoes, but I like them with butter and garlic.
Maybe you hate melted cheese because it also reminds you of beef food.
No, I love cheese. Cheese, if it has dairy, I think I like it because it has dairy. Mm-hmm. But if there's no dairy involved, I love cheesecake. Cheesecake, I can eat the hell out of that.
Wait, now you're breaking the logic because that's soft. And I love cheesecake.
But it's also creamy.
I love cheesecakes. I have it 3 times a year.
Cheesecake is fantastic. I love cheese. Again, cheesy counselor. Here we go. But back to our original premise. So yeah, if you had to pair a wine with the aberration and bastard thing known as pumpkin pie, yes, I would say that honestly, a Pedro Jimenez sherry would probably be really good. So a Pedro Jimenez sherry. I think Alvear is spelled Alvear, 1908 or 1988. I can't remember. But that wine, it's sweet, first of all. So you always want your wine to be sweeter than dessert, and God knows that pumpkin pie probably has 2 pounds of sugar alone in it. The Alvear Pedro Jimenez is just this super heavy, rich, it tastes like cinnamon, it tastes like nuts, it tastes like pecans, it tastes like maple syrup, it tastes like pistachios. Wonderfully complex, just interplays very, very well with all those spices. But don't you dare pair that majestic wine with this heap of trash. if you must do this, I would say eat it with a pumpkin croissant. Eat it with any other pumpkin flavored thingy. It will pair with your pumpkin pie, but just know you're disappointing me. You are disappointing me if you pair that with pumpkin pie.
Oh, man. I was laughing pretty hard earlier because I was like, man, this might be the easiest episode to name. And I thought Victor and Victor have an unholy war over pumpkin pie, but then I remembered current events and I went,
Well, so Holy War, going back to Utah, is also the name of the game between BYU and the University of Utah.
Excuse me?
Yeah, exactly. It's called Holy War.
Oh, well.
It's Mormons against the seculars, pretty much, is how Utah phrases that, you know?
Well.
But yeah, so that would be my official wine pairing for that right there. Damn. You should call this episode Thanksgiving Fights, like your family. You know, on the core values, you get along with them, but there's just something that's just a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
I say next episode, I'll bring what I consider to be a true and proper pumpkin dessert. Mm-hmm. And you bring the best iteration of pumpkin pie you can. And I'll try to remember back when I was 2 years old trying to eat out of a fucking paper, little sippy cup.
I don't know. The best iteration is fresh out the oven from Mama Aparicio.
No, she can't count because I can't insult her mother like that.
Wow.
What's the second best iteration? I'll find the second best iteration of... That way it's always unsettled because I can't... As much as I hate pumpkin pie, I would never have the courage if I didn't like it to tell your mother I did not like it. I'd be like, oh, it's the best thing in the world. Because you just don't crush a sweet old lady's heart like that.
I think I found a loophole of how to record you saying you love pumpkin pie.
Feed me your mother's pumpkin pie and I will force feed you, hell, I don't know, sardine pate. And I'll be like, you will say that this is great.
Well, I like a lot of things unlike you.
That is true. That is true. I prefer texture in my life. I like the crunch. I like the chew. I don't like the... Ugh.
You think like wine is a texture? Oh, that's the wrong thing to ask you.
Actually,
there is texture.
So actually, right? It's like here's your proper answer: yes and no.
I was thinking very basically, like on paper, just like liquids.
Well, so yeah, so physically it is a liquid, but there's a cool interplay between sugar, acid, and tannin. Mm-hmm. When your wine is like exuberantly high in acid, it can come off as crunchy, which sounds kind of weird. If it's really high in tannin, it can come across as like bitterly astringent and dry. Mm-hmm. And then if it has a shit ton of sugar, it can feel luxuriously rich. Yeah. So it can get, and then there's the god awful abomination of Rombauer Chardonnay. That literally feels like you're drinking heavy cream. That will make me gag. It's like if I wanted to drink canola oil, I would just go buy a bottle of Masola and just down that down. But yeah, so wines will have different textures, yes and no.
Yeah. It's funny. The second that question came out of my mouth, I even remembered our common work area, like directly on our worksheets, a blank line in next to it being like texture.
Yeah.
Write it down. What
one of the funniest things I have ever remembered when I first started getting into wine, I remember someone was like, is this wine dry? And I'm like, no, it's wet. But I never made that mistake ever again. Never made that mistake ever again.
Unlike me, where I probably made a mistake like twice.
It's like, does the wine taste dry? Well, last time I checked, it's a fucking liquid. No, I'm not eating sawdust. Although some wines will give you the indication. Athenaeum Cabernet from Rutherford, looking at you. Mm-hmm. Feels like you're just chewing on a bag of sawdust straight from Home Depot.
Yeah. Definitely like that after, like, or just like after it just kind of absorbs and like, just leaves you. And then you're just like, why do I feel like I didn't just have a liquid in my mouth?
Yeah, it's just like leaves your mouth like painfully dry. Yeah. Like sucks the saliva out of your gums kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I put in the edit that you requested where you're just like, it's like, that picture on shitty wine memes where it's just like Gordon Ramsay's.
Oh yes, squirting the lemon and it's Patrick, and then your mouth is like this, and it's just like, oh my god,
I slapped that right into episode 11.
Oh, so. That meme is so juicy. Like every time I see that meme, I'm just like, give me Riesling, feed me. Like maybe in a past life I was fed wine when I was a baby, mm-hmm. and that is why I like wine and hate baby food. Because I was weaned off the tit of a mother that was, I don't know, Who's the goddess of wine?
You're asking the wrong guy.
The god of wine is Bacchus.
Okay.
The goddess of wine would be... No, Bacchanalia is a whole different story. Don't look that up, whatever you do.
My only frame of reference for any of this is God of War's like use of Greek mythology and Norse mythology in the newer games.
Ooh, so I do have a question for you.
Okay.
Not a parent question, but The Witcher.
Right.
Have you heard of the books?
I have heard of the books. I have not cracked one open or
have you heard great things about the books?
I heard they're wonderful, yeah.
And now my follow-up question is, how many books have been made into video games that you know?
The first thing that comes to mind is the Metro video games. Those are based on books. It's also what? Sorry, I was thinking. I was like, is that also from Poland? No, I think it's a Russian author. But yeah, the Metro is the story of like, a bomb, nuclear bomb going off over Russia, and like everyone rushes underground, and now it's just like completely underground civilization who's trying to just find out if there's still civilization in other places, trying to get out of the underground and like take that world back. But it's just like all mutated monsters on the top.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
It's like Chernobyl all over again.
Yeah.
Because I was like thinking about that because I came across the Witcher series and I'm like, hold the fuck up. I know this.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking know this. And I'm like, no, video games can be made from books.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the question is, how accurate are the video games compared to the books?
That I wouldn't know. I mean, I'm sure you can find plenty of reviews online where they're taking like from a book fan's like perspective and stuff. But
would you say it's worthwhile for people like me to read the book before playing the video game, or no?
In case of The Witcher, oh yeah, I bet it adds a lot to your experience. I bet like just analytically and like historically, just knowing that background.
Even if I don't know the difference between A and B,
while going down like because you'll be like in a certain like area or region when playing like a Witcher game, and you'll be like, oh, I've read all about this area and stuff. So like you'll be crossing a bridge, being like, this reminds me of that chapter when like there was like monsters who used to be on this bridge.
So it actually might prepare me better.
Like definitely things like that. I mean, my only other book knowledge with video games is that The Last of Us is inspired by a book called The Road from Cormac. Nicole knows. But yeah.
Cormac, I feel like I know who that is.
Yeah.
Can I check my phone real quick and I can tell you right now because I think I have one of his books in my cart, literally.
Oh, there you go.
Let's see here.
I heard The Road's a good book too.
The what?
The Road. Because it's like the same kind of setup where it's just like, an older just like beaten down by the.
Oh yeah, it is the Cormac by Cormac McCarthy. That one right there, right?
Cormac McCarthy. I've been saying it the other way around. I've been like McCormick McCarthy.
Yeah, I'm like something like that.
Yeah, the same premise where it's just like just a man beaten down by the new reality that's post-apocalyptic, having to take care of someone young and doesn't know the world quite that well, quite that way. The Last of Us is the same way.
YouTubers, that book is on Amazon for $7.19, by the way.
Yeah, that's cheap. I would have sworn I owned it. Maybe it's in one of my ebooks.
Yeah.
But yeah. Inspired, based on, and sometimes actually from books. Video games can be. Oh yeah. There's this one RPG it's original, but it's written by a bunch of like well-established like fantasy writers, and they all like got together to write an original video game, and like I think it's called like Kingdoms of Amalur, and it done really well. But on the business side, the guy who owned the studio, I forgot exactly what happened, but like he used to be like a baseball player turned entrepreneur, and then lost all his money to the studio.
Oh no!
Because the loan he got from like the state of Maryland, like he didn't pay back. So like
Oh, no.
Victor put up the article. It's a funny read. Well, funny now. It's never funny to poor guy, but sort of funny.
Well, would you say that concludes today's episode?
I guess so, yeah.
Our Thanksgiving edition.
Thanksgiving edition. So yeah, like we said, you have a good couple of days to grab our recommendations, grab your loved ones,
and sure fight about pumpkin pie.
Yeah, I mean, you are all probably gathered around the table sharing pieces of pumpkin pie. So that
don't don't do that. Do not share pumpkin pie around the table. Be a trailblazer and bring apple pie, blueberry pie, cherry pie, something that has a little bit of chew.
There's two, maybe three of the new CNC 10 commandments that are being established right now. What was the first one? Do you remember the first one was?
No, because I guess it wasn't as important as pumpkin pie.
Oh man, it was like a point I wanted to make earlier. But two, take off the skin off of your, what was it, a turkey, and give it to your dog?
Oh, yes. You always want to give them the crispiest bit. I know you guys want to eat it, but you have to hold your pet in a high regard. And
the third commandment is be arm in arm with your loved ones while being pumpkin pie. No. I would rather eat flan. I would rather eat pistachios. I would rather eat dates. I'd rather eat raisin cake. I would rather eat fruit cake. I would rather eat a fried egg drenched in maple syrup than to get anywhere near pumpkin pie. Yes. How do you feel about carrot cake?
I don't know how I feel about carrot cake, actually. I was trying to render a judgment right now, and I'm like, I can't.
Also, I rarely had cake, which is why it's my super favorite. Probably more than cheesecake and pumpkin pie.
I don't think I've had enough of them because I feel that I know it has cream cheese frosting because I like that because it gets on cinnamon rolls. But does carrot cake actually have carrots in it?
Yeah, it has carrot bits in it.
But I always feel that it tastes like walnuts and cinnamon.
There are ones that have walnuts in them, yes.
See, I would be more on board with that. At least there's an element of surprise. It's like carrot cake, okay, there's health benefits to it. It's not like 5 pounds of sugar and like a poor pumpkin that's like, what I hate about pumpkin pie, amongst a lot of things, is that the poor flavor. Do you know what a pumpkin tastes like?
It's been a while since I just bit one, so.
Please tell me it was cooked.
No, I think I did it as a joke.
Oh no!
They're just like, oh, you just eat it, and I was like, yeah, check it out.
Oh no! Yeah, so the flavor of pumpkin, I feel, is so subtle. Mm-hmm. Pumpkin pie is again, I like the flavor, but the flavor is all the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the clove, the brown sugar. It's like the pumpkin is lost. It's like when you make a cup of coffee and you make it into a pumpkin spice latte. It's like I know there's coffee in there somewhere, but I can't taste it. Mm-hmm. It's like pumpkin pie, same thing. Versus when you make like pumpkin empanadas. Those are amazing because guess what? There's no cinnamon, there's no nutmeg, maybe a tiny bit of clove, maybe some brown sugar, and those actually taste like pumpkin. I should bring you that one next time. Straight from the panaderia.
The pumpkin empanada?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like pumpkin pie, but significantly better. Because guess what? There's a crust.
I mean, that's hard to accomplish, but yeah, I'll take a bite.
You know what was hard to accomplish? Christopher Columbus arriving to the Americas and slaughtering a whole bunch of Native Americans.
I mean,
that was hard to accomplish. Not liking pumpkin pie is very easy. All you just do is don't buy it and don't look at it and don't eat it.
I mean, he done it without a second thought, so he was probably easy to him.
No, pumpkin pie. No, man. I just the line is right here. I will throw all the pumpkin pie to that side, and call it a day and be like, I'm not losing out on anything.
Yeah, the line is always right here, but for some reason we like dancing on it.
Yeah, that is true, actually. I feel like the whole show we've just been going back and forth on our either adoration or hatred of the pie.
Oh, I was talking about all the other topics we were doing. I was just thinking, I was like, I wonder what's going to get the CNC crew canceled one of these days.
Watch it be pumpkin pie. Are you for or against? It's like so many things are wrong in the world right now, and we're bickering about pumpkin pie. But that's important to me, okay? It's
like, yeah, Victor sexually harassed some poor woman, but I really don't like the time that he was for pumpkin pie. I think I want to cancel him for that instead.
Right? Like fucking right? Like, oh my God. I'm already...
But again, which Victor?
I'm depressed about the fact that I can go... to either Winco, Costco, Save Mart, Sprouts, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, and guess what I'm going to run into?
The Holy Grail. Pumpkin pie. They all carry it because they're smart. And they know what sells.
It's called consumerism. They buy it just like they buy cranberry sauce every year. They don't like it. They just buy it because they have to.
Or cranberry sauce is organic.
And there's this old geezer at this table that's like, pumpkin pie is American. And it's like, that's apple pie, buddy. Get it right.
I think it was only in my 20s that I finally started to accept apple pie.
Are you ready for a plot twist?
What's this?
I fucking despise apple pie.
I think... that caught me off guard.
I hate apple pie. I cannot stand it at all whatsoever.
What was the other pies you mentioned? Did you mention cherry pie? Do you hate cherry pies too?
I don't like cherry pie.
Is this when you realize you don't like any pies?
I do like pie.
What, pecan?
No. Lemon meringue pie.
That's not a pie.
Exactly.
That's just cream.
Key lime pie. Absolutely love that. I'm telling you, man, if there's no dairy in there, it's just not happening. I want my fat. I want my calories, man.
Okay,
like,
we're adding another 30 minutes to the show.
It's like, if I wanted to eat a piece of fruit, I would just go eat the damn fruit and call it a damn day. If I wanted fruit with bread, guess what? Smash some strawberries into a freaking baguette, call it a day. Why in this bloody hell would I want to cook down these beautiful strawberries into this mush and then add cornstarch and then be like, oh, let me serve you some quasi jello, I don't know what you want to call it, in this soggy crust and call it a pie.
What if we get like a really like local, just expertly crafted, like what if during one of our winery trips, we just go to like hands down, like the locals are just like, go to this fucking bakery, go to this cafe and get yourself a pumpkin pie or
I'll do it.
Or an apple pie or like any of the like made from like this just woolly God-given powered old grandmother who runs a bakery.
Chances are I'm gonna say the cheesecake is better.
Well, of course, the cheesecake is better.
There we go. See, the peace declaration has been signed. We are both adorators of cheesecake. I love them all. I love them equally.
Thank you guys for turning so much to corks and controllers.
Now, pumpkin cheesecake. Don't even fucking get me started. Not just kidding.
No, yeah, okay. Hold on. The show's not over yet. Do you want to know where like God-forsaken personified into a single point of existence? Do you want to know where that is?
Where?
You go to Cheesecake Factory and you sit down and you order the Craig. The Craig is a cheese carrot cake where they blended the two concepts into one.
What the fuck?
It is abysmal.
What kind of
paroxysmal? It is a bastardization of both those amazing products.
But is it good?
No. That's what I'm saying. It is horrid. It is bad. It's like not even moist, and it's just like everything's just wrong, and they put a bunch of weird shit in it.
That's me about pumpkin pie. That's literally how I feel about pumpkin pie. It's weird. They put a whole bunch of shit in it. It's just not, it's moist. Like, what the hell, man? Like, see, you agree with me without even agreeing with me.
We're not even talking about pumpkin pie, though.
But we're talking about the concept of what it should not be.
Okay, concepts cannot just go over borders like that. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, we both breathe oxygen.
The concept, breathing oxygen is not a concept.
Yeah, it's a fact.
It's like the concepts are like bento boxes. They're all just compartmentalized away from each other.
Not necessarily.
I don't know.
We both don't like things that don't go where they're not supposed to.
Yeah, that's a concept.
I think you just haven't detached yourself from the amygdala of having to like pumpkin pie. You will be free one day, and you will look back on that day and be like, "How could I eat baby food in my 20s and 30s?"
Okay, next episode, me and Victor are gonna go visit a food scientist at like one of the, I don't know, UC Berkeley. I don't know where the fuck food scientists are, and we're gonna ask them all these questions.
I actually know one.
Oh, do you? Wait.
I do.
I'm not surprised. I take that back.
I'll ping her a call and be like, hey, can we ask you some questions about the humble beginnings of baked goods and how they devolved into this aberration of pie?
Tell us why they made the fucking Craig.
Like, why in the world would you go from something as wholesome as a cake and decide to put liquids in it and then somewhat make them hard and then like they jiggle?
Are you talking about Jell-O?
No, I'm talking about pie.
Oh, okay. Well,
but Jell-O is equally disgusting.
Let's go back to ending the show.
Okay, yes. Let's end the show now.
Thank you guys so much.
You guys have a happy Thanksgiving. We will ping you guys after Thanksgiving.
Of course. And yeah, if you have an opinion one way or another of this pumpkin pie debacle or any baby foods, please
pumpkin pie gate.
Please leave them down in the comments below on our YouTube. Check out our shorts and polls of our hate. I didn't know how to phrase that, so I just went hate. But no, yeah. Let us know how you feel about the topic. Let us know how you feel about tell us if you tried. I mean, it won't be in that time. God, I'm really doing a really good job closing out this episode.
I blame pumpkin pie.
At some later date,
it's always that fault.
Let us know if mine or Victor's Thanksgiving pairings have worked well for you.
Oh, yes. Please, yes.
And we'll catch you next time.
And feel free, if it's even beforehand, comment below. If we can catch you before Thanksgiving, we'll be happy to send you out personalized recs. Just let us know what you're eating.
Bam, 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 bam. So, yeah. So, you know how it is. Coffee.com for the digital tip jar.
Yes. As you could tell, we kind of need them. Not just kidding.
Check out our check out our episode drop announcements or any behind the scenes over our Instagram.
Hey, Taylor Swift, sponsor us, please.
Dude, she won't even glance at us. She
glanced at Travis Kelce.
She's too queen-like.
All he had to do was be like, "Hey, I went to your concert. You didn't see me," and boom, next thing you know, she's wearing up in Chiefs gear. Maybe we can have her on the grandma couch and be like, "Taylor, come on, just come and talk to us. About Evermore or folklore."
Oh man,
we love you, Taylor.
Those albums are like the pumpkin pie.
Don't even get me started. No. Don't you dare slander Taylor like that. Tay deserves better than that, man. Pumpkin pie. Oh my, she's never come on the show now. Oh my God, you compared it to pumpkin pie? Look at you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. I hate you. Oh my God, Taylor, pumpkin pie? That's unforgivable. Oh my God, I need Nicole's take on this.
My name is Victor Villavaso. I love pumpkin pie. Yum, yum, yum.